Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the 8-game NFL preseason main slate on Saturday. So we have a lot to talk about here. But if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. Also making videos for PGA, Daily Fantasy Sports, and NBA Top Shot. If you're unable to watch these videos, I also upload an Apple Podcast. I'll have a link down below. It's called the DKDFS show. And if you have an extra minute or two, if you could leave a 5-star rating and review, that would really help me out, guys, because every single rating or review just boosts me up in those Apple Podcast rankings. If you are interested in signing up for premium content, I offer a few different packages over on patreon.com. NFL package, it includes preseason. Again, we've got preseason slates Thursday through through Monday this week. So a lot of action going over main slate, showdown slates, all that good stuff. Offer an esports package that includes Call of Duty and CSGO. NBA package, one that returns in October. And then gold package is a combination of everything. Again, link down below if that is something you are interested in. And finally, I do want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring this episode. So, if you guys are not familiar with PrizePicks, well, they have contests here for NFL preseason. So, or content, well, they post player projections for NFL preseason. So, the idea is they post players and the projected fantasy scores, and you either take the over or the under. That is one way to play, or you can go to single stat. You can take over under on like rushing yards, passing yards, receiving yards if you prefer that option. If you look at the top here, they have every single sport you can think of. So, you can mix and match sports as well. If you guys want to try it out, you can sign up, use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word. I'll have a link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. So you deposit using my code with $100. You get a free $100 to play with. And I do just want to give a special shout out to all you guys coming in and supporting the channel every single day. We have videos every single day talking, NFL, NBA, when those up, Top Shot, all that good stuff. So if you guys do enjoy this content, if you could leave a like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos and you don't go live. Let's try to aim for 100 likes on this video, guys. Every single like helps me or allows me to get more views on these videos. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Closing in on 10,000. All right, so enough of that. Before we get into players and the prices for this 8-game slate, we can quickly look back lineup here from Thursday's 2-game slate. So Thursday's slate went really, really well for me, and the ownership was just a massive shock to me. So this was the classic overreaction, right? This is groupthink, overreaction. Everyone's like, oh man, we saw what Andy Reid did 2 years ago. He said they're going to play over a full half, and they only played 15, 20 snaps. Last week, quarter, they only played 4 snaps. So everyone's just like, we're just completely avoiding the Chiefs. And that was just a really big mistake because, okay, worst case scenario here for Mahomes and this Chiefs offense, they get about a quarter. So you mean to tell me that, we're going to have Patrick Mahomes at 10% ownership and Streveler at 90%? When worst case scenario, Mahomes basically plays the same as Streveler, maybe Streveler plays a little bit more, but I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes over Streveler straight up all day long. And if you factor in ownership, right, 90% Streveler versus 10% Patrick Mahomes, give me Mahomes all day long. So, yes, Mahomes in general didn't really work out, but he had 3 drives, had a possibility for 2 touchdowns, just had a subpar game. So I will play Patrick Mahomes, and that's about 100 times out of 100, especially with that ownership, right? Now, I had everyone, YouTube comments saying, oh, you're an idiot for going to Mahomes, like blah, 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 even on Twitter. And, I just think that, again, very incorrect, right? Mahomes played a lot more than Streveler. Ownership was insane, so I will go to Mahomes all day long there. Now, what that did do is everyone has completely avoided the Chiefs' offense, which allowed me to get McCole Hardman and Byron Pringle at basically no ownership. And this made no sense to me. Hardman, 4%, Pringle, 13%, Travis Kelce, 27%. The starters played the entire first half. Mahomes had 3 drives. Hardman, Pringle, and Kelce are out there the full half. So, again, worst case scenario, Andy Reid trolls us and plays them a quarter? I'm slowly going to take a quarter out of this dynamic Chiefs offense. So, the receivers were the big key for me. Again, super low ownership. Again, groupthink. Always avoid groupthink for DFS. People just completely avoided the Chiefs, which I thought was a massive mistake. Going over the rest of my lineup, so Patterson, Eno Benjamin, Chris Evans, again, all three backs got a good amount of work. Patterson was fantastic. He was chalk. Eno Benjamin, a solid 40% owned. Chris Evans didn't have any receptions, but he did have a decent amount of work there on the ground. And then he used chalky Keyshawn Johnson, again, just because a workload thing, right? He played like 70% of the snaps or 70% of the snaps last game. And then he used the Washington football team, obviously, because Cincinnati didn't have Joe Burrow, and they weren't playing their main guys a ton. So that is it for look back, guys. Finished second in this tournament. Just missed out on the takedown by, less or about a point. But yeah, overall, it was a really, really solid day for me, and hoping to keep it going. NFL preseason has been really, really good to us. So let's talk about this 8-game slate. And I have a lot of notes, a lot of players to talk about. So quarterback, obviously there's 8 teams, not going to go through every single team. We'll start with Atlanta. There's one guy I will mention here, and that is Felipe Franks. Keep an eye on Matt Ryan's stats. Don't expect him to play a ton. Now, Franks was not great through the air last game, but he is a guy that has that rushing upside that we saw from him. He broke that long run last game, like a 50, 60-yard run. So a little bit of interest in Franks. Now, if Matt Ryan, if they do end up resting him, then a little bit more interest in Franks. But right now, he's just more of a contrarian play for me. One of the better options, I think, is definitely going to be Tyler Huntley. So, dual threat quarterback. We have McSorley out. We have Lamar Jackson. Well, right now, Coach Harbaugh won't comment on his expectations for playing time or lack thereof. So, we don't know if Lamar plays. We have McSorley out. They just signed Kenji Bahar, so I don't think he plays a ton. We could be in line for a lot of Tyler Huntley tomorrow. And again, dual threat, always a big positive. So I really like Tyler Huntley. I think one of the better options for sure. All right, a couple other guys to mention here. So let's go over to the Raiders. Mariota was a little bit banged up. He did not play last game. Also, Derek Carr didn't play last game. So Nathan Peterman literally played the entire game. Now, this is something we'll have to keep an eye on news. My guess is the starters get a little bit of work with Derek Carr. But if Mariota's out and the starters only get a series or two, then Peterman's going to be in line for a big day again. And he actually does have a little bit of rushing upside too. So this will be one to monitor. But yeah, definitely some interest there in Nathan Peterman. And finally, let's go where are they? The LA Rams. So what we know with the Rams are McVay. He doesn't like playing the starters or any of the main guys really in the preseason. Sean McVay, listen to this quote, recently indicated on Fox that Stafford will not play in any preseason. There's zero chance he will ever see Matthew Stafford take a snap in the preseason for the Rams as long as I'm the coach. That will never happen. So I think it's pretty safe to say that Stafford is not going to play. Well, we already know John Wolford won't play. Stafford out. Wolford out. That leaves Perkins and Hodges. Both these guys should split the time, and Bryce Perkins is a guy that has that dual threat ability. We saw it last game. So he is one of the quarterbacks I am definitely considering on this 8-game slate. Okay, let's move over to running back, and I have a lot of guys to go over here, so I'm gonna go a little bit quicker. On Miami side, I mentioned Salvon Ahmed. So right now he's kind of fighting for that number 3 role running back. He is in a battle right now with Gaskin, Brown. He can move up a little bit. He is a decent pass catching running back. Got a decent amount of work that last game. So Ahmed's probably the guy I'm looking to on Miami. On the Baltimore side, I do like Tyson Williams a lot. He got a lot of work last game, a good pass catching back. And with the starters not expected to play a ton this game, I think he gets a pretty good workload again. So I do really like him. I think he's one of the better options on this slate. On the Carolina side, McCaffrey didn't play. Bonafide didn't play. Ronnie Smith didn't play. So we got a good amount of work there from Chuba Hubbard. Rushed 7 times. Again, rookie. I think he'll get a decent amount of work again in this game. So Chuba Hubbard's the guy for me in Carolina. On the Detroit side, not much. Let's see. On the Pittsburgh side, so I monitor this. Najee Harris has gotten a decent amount of work first couple games, but it was a lot of McFarland and Jalen Samuels last game. Now, both these guys are a good pass-catching running back, so I think both those guys are decent options once again. Now, if we do get confirmation of the starters going to play a little bit more, then Najee Harris is a guy that I think you can look to. All right, let's Tennessee. I don't think there's much there. On the Tampa Bay side, I mentioned Keyshawn Vaughn. So again, main guys here for Tampa Bay, not expected to play a ton. So I don't really think we see Ronald Jones or Fournette. So I think we do get a decent amount of Keyshawn Vaughn. He rushed the ball 11 times for 27 yards last game, had 2 catches on 3 targets. So he's kind of, again, fighting for a roster spot right now. I think he'll get a good amount of work. Let's see. So on the Dallas side, we have Rico Dowdle and Hardy again. So Ezekiel Elliott, once again, will not play. Tony Pollard probably starts, maybe gets a series or so. And this will be a lot of Dowdle and Hardy. They're 2 youngsters. Again, Dowdle, second-year running back. Hardy, the rookie. I think both guys, like we saw in the first couple games, will get hefty workloads. I think both are safer options on this slate. On the Colts side, so don't expect the starters to play a ton. Again, you want to look to more of the guys fighting for roster spots. So like a Benny LeMay, Jordan Wilkins duo, I think they'll get a decent amount of work there. On the Minnesota side, so we got to talk about how many carries A.J. Rose Jr. got. He rushed the ball 25 times last game. So we saw no Dalvin Cook, no Madison. We saw a little bit of a duel, but it was like all Rose. So if we get confirmation that the main guys from Minnesota are not going to play a ton, then I'm fine going right back to Rose. I think he'll be popular. But yeah, 25 carries is like unheard of. Now for the Raiders, a little bit of interest here in Trey Regas, their rookie. He got a hefty workload last game. Again, I don't expect a ton from Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, so he's someone that I think looks like a pretty solid option. On the Rams, like I've mentioned a couple times, starters are just not going to play much. We know Cam Akers out for the season, and I don't expect a ton of Henderson, so I think it's be Jones and Jake Funk that get a majority of the work like they did last game. Both these guys can catch the ball out of the backfield, so I expect a lot of work though for Jones and Funk. I think 2 safer options. And last guy I mentioned here is DJ Dallas. So a little bit thin right now. We have Homer out. Penny's a little bit banged up. I don't expect a ton of work for Chris Carson. DJ Dallas more the third down back. Collins a bruiser. But again, they're a little bit thin at the running back position. So DJ Dallas I think is a viable option there. All right, guys, let's move on to the wide receiver position. And we'll start with Miami because if you just look at the Miami wide receivers, you can tell they're pretty banged up, right? We have Fuller out, Parker, Wilson, Williams, Bowden, Hearns. Hearns is out, but a lot of guys, banged up. Don't expect a lot of these main guys to play. So Miami could be pretty thin at the wide receivers position. So I'll mention a couple guys. Rookie, Jalen Waddle. Now, he wasn't targeted last game, but he actually was out there for a good amount of action. And I expect a little bit more work here for Jalen Waddle. So I do like him, and I do like Matt Collins. I think these 2 guys with a thin wide receiving corps probably get close to a full half of work. So those 2 look decent. You want to go to speedster, Jakeem Grant, that's fine too. But yeah, banged up wide receiving core. I think guys like Waddle, Hollins look pretty good here for Miami. On the Baltimore side, you can kind of say the same thing, right? Banged up wide receiving corps. So I think guys, like a Duvernay kind of fighting for a roster spot, rookie Prochet. I think both these guys will get a lot of opportunities tomorrow. So, yeah, Duvernay, Prochet are 2 guys I'm looking to do for Baltimore. You could obviously pair them up with Huntley if you'd like for a little bit of correlation. So, moving on to Carolina. We had Marshall had a really, really solid game. He's been making great impressions in camp. Had 3 catches on 5 targets for 88 yards. I think he'll be decently popular. But, yeah, I expect him to be out there a good amount. Again, I wouldn't think Anderson and DJ Moore get a lot of work. So, Marshall, once again, I think it is viable here for Carolina. On the Detroit side, I will mention St. Brown. I don't love it because Detroit is pretty loaded right now at wide receiver. Not loaded, but they just have a lot of guys. They definitely don't have a good receiving corps. But yeah, St. Brown has actually been the most consistent receiver. He had 2 catches last week, so a little bit of interest there. On the Pittsburgh side, I think it's viable actually to target the main wide receivers in Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster. Both had 2-3 targets last game. We have Washington banged up, Claypool a little bit banged up. And we've actually seen the first couple games them play the full first quarter. So maybe they play a little bit more here. Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, I think both in play for me. All right, let's see. What else do we got here? So for Tampa Bay, talk about Jaylon Darden. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So he didn't have the best game, rookie wide receiver. But Tampa Bay expected to rest a lot of their main guys once again. Secured 2 of 6 targets for 19 yards. Again, Aaron said it wasn't great, but he should get a lot of opportunity here. So I like Darden there for Tampa Bay. On the Houston side, I mentioned rookie Nico Collins, formerly of the Michigan Wolverines. He has been actually making some good impressions in camp. Houston as a team, not going to be great this year, but I think they're going to want to give the rookie as many opportunities as they can. And the Dallas side, I'm sure you guys recognize now Semi Fioco. I've mentioned him a couple times now because this is the third game Dallas has played. Big body wide receiver, had 4 catches last game, so Fioco is once again in play for me. All right, so a couple other guys I want to mention here. Mike Strachan for the Colts had 3 catches on 5 targets. So right now he's fighting for that number 5 wide receiver role, rookie, 7th round pick. Kind of fits the bill for a good preseason play, right? Young guy who's fighting for a spot, and with starters not expected to play a ton for most teams, he is someone that I think you can go to at the wide receiver spot. All right, on the Minnesota side, Smith Marset. So rookie wide receiver had 2 catches last game. Again, kind of like number 4, number 5 wide receiver in the depth chart. Starters don't expect a lot of Justin Jefferson, Thielen. So Smith Marset is a viable option for me. All right, and then we'll move on to the Rams, because Rams are a team that are, first of all, they're going to rest a lot of their main guys. And second of all, they're banged up. So Woods, Kupp, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson. Don't expect to see them much, if at all, this game. Well, we have Tutu Atwell missed practice. We have Tristan Jackson did not practice. So they could be really, really thin at the wide receiver position. So basically every other healthy wide receiver I think is in play. Jacob Harris, he had 3-4 catches last game. J.J. Koski had 3 catches last game. Haydill. Basically any healthy wide receiver in this Rams team. So let's just say all the main guys are out and all the guys that are questionable are out. They might only have 4 or 5 healthy wide receivers. So yeah, Rams are a team that I'm fine going to for wide receiver. I think they're very safe, especially if those main guys end up resting. Okay, so let's move on to the tight end position. And we'll go over to, so I'll mention a few guys here. Kyle Pitts, dressed last game but did not play, rookie tight end. He said he's a little bit behind. I expect him to play in this game. Now, obviously, we'll have to monitor that news. Obviously, there's a chance maybe he rests again, but I would think they want to give the rookie tight end some action, preseason action. So if he is for sure good to go, then I do have some interest there in Kyle Pitts. Mike Gesicki for Miami had a couple of catches last game. Starters got a decent amount of work. We know he's a good pass-catching tight end. I wouldn't expect him to play a full half. Maybe we get about a quarter from Mike Gesicki, which I think is definitely doable with Tua at quarterback. All right, the Pittsburgh side, rookie Pat Freiermuth. So got a little bit of work last game, got about a quarter, caught his only target. We know he's a big body tight end, a good pass-catching tight end. And I think he might get a little bit more work this game. So Freiermuth, I think, is viable. We got to go to the preseason GOAT. If you guys played preseason NFL like myself last 3-4 years, well, Tanner Hudson is that guy. Caught 4 catches, 7 targets last time. I had him at super low ownership last night. The main slate really, really did surprise me. Don't expect much from Gronk. O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. Don't think play much. So that's going to leave a lot of work for a guy like Tanner Hudson. So do like him a good amount. Definitely one of the better options. And finally, we'll go to the Rams because, again, Rams going to rest a lot of their main guys. And Bryson Hopkins, I expect to get or be out there for the majority of the game. He only had 1 catch last week, but the Rams in general didn't move the ball very well. So main guys, not expected to play much. Hopkins, I think you can go to for the Rams. All right, guys. I know I talked about a lot of players there, but that is going to do it for the video. So if you haven't enjoyed the content so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos. And live. I'm going to try to do a YouTube live stream as well tomorrow, just a general Q&A, answer any questions you guys have. I've been doing the last few slates. You guys have really been enjoying it. So I'm going to try to do that for every single main slate. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Have a great night, and I will see you all in the next one.